Hiya. We're actually filming from Sarah's house today, which is quite scary. I've not got anything here that I know of. I'm trying to see whether there's a measuring tape anywhere. Didn't think to pick one up. Hi, how you doing? So our lady who won the raffle yesterday, she was in today. She picked up her fabric. I forgot to tell you there was 3 meters of fabric and 1 meter of wadding as well. So and it was 5 balls of wool, not 1. I thought it was a bit stingy. Cool, thank you. So she's been in. She seemed really happy. She had to wander around, had a look, which you do. And we're going to put another one on over the weekend. Sean will just surprise you. It'll be like surprise, and there'll be a be one on there. This is a clever tape measure. So today we're doing little pouches. Okay. So this one has been measured for this bottle. However, we could just as easy put your poo bag in. Now, I'm not sure. I think if I was going to do this and leave it in there, I'd pull that middle bit out so that you could pull from the middle, you know, like you do with wet wipes, you know, when you get them in a tub. But this, what I would do is shove this down so you get it in there. I would make the hole smaller for this. Okay, it's quite big because of the top, and then you could just pull. Supposing that was smaller, you just pull off your poo thing, and then this will have buttons on. But I'll show you about buttonhole making later. We can do that, talk each other through that together. Okay, so this one was measured for that. Look how clever that is. So you would then button that onto your handbag or your belt if you were going for a walk or something, so that you've got your gel. So you measure it, you measure the bottle and make the pouch to fit the bottle. So this one is difficult to come out. So we have some fabrics here, and I've done a pattern. It's a very wordy pattern. It's got pictures and everything, but it just wordy. It needs me partner to have a look at it and de-word it. So we're gonna just iron out these fabrics a little bit before we cut them. Okay, now I've put on the pattern that it's a fat 1/8, but you're going to see it takes so little fabric that from a fat 1/8 you could probably make 10, because it really isn't. There isn't a lot there, depending on your bottle, I suppose, or your poo bags. I mean, if you have big dogs, you might need more poo bags. So we're gonna do this. There's a film on the telly, and I really want to just sit and watch that. So what's been happening in your lives, people? Can Alex see comments?
Yeah, there's 24 people tuning in.
Oh.
A lot of hellos.
They've decided they're not coming again today. Right, I'm going over here.
Yep.
Okay. So you're going to take your. No, we're not. We're going to measure this first. You need to measure. Where are we? We're over here. Let's do it over here. Okay. You ready? Can you see there? Right. So, isn't it clever? It's got the end on that side and the beginning on that side. I thought that was really good. doesn't matter which way you wind it then. Right, you're going to measure the bottle from there to there. So that's 3.5. Okay, we're going to do it with this bottle because it means I don't have to do the maths again. So you would then, or you would take the poo bag and make it 2.5. Okay, so you would write that down. That's your, you want length of that underneath the cap. Okay, then you're going to measure around it, which comes to 6. Okay, so that one's 6, so you would write that down. You want the diameter, no, the circumference of your top, which is 4. Alright, and then you also want that measurement. So you're going to start, you want to go across the bottom and then down halfway, so that's 3. I think I've actually got 3.5. So we could make it smaller, but 3. So you're going to then work out, because you need to add your seam allowance onto these. So we're going to cut, for the length of the bottle, you've got to add 3.25. You're going to need the pattern for this because there's no way you're going to remember it. It's hard enough for me to remember, and I've already made one. You're going to add 3/4 of an inch to the length of your bottle, 3/4 for the circumference of the bottle, and 1/4 for the lid. So you've got to, it's a lot of maths to begin with. I'm sure there are easier ones out there, but this one just appealed. I liked the finish of it. So I'm going to cut the, oh, I did it. Yeah, I will. Going to cut the salvage off. Okay. Stood up there. So what are you all doing with this hot, sticky day while I'm cutting this?
Caroline said she did a little shop first and then went for a walk.
Went for a walk, nice. I've walked a bit around the shop, but that's about it for me today. So I've cut it at 4 3/4, and I'm going to cut now. It's got to be 3.5 by 4 3/4. So I'm going to cut. That's my lining. Okay, and unit 5 was 3.5 by 9. So is that 9? Okay. So we're going to cut 3.5. So I'm going to use the blue as the lining. I tried to find fabrics that were completely different. So I'm going to cut this one at 9. Okay. There we go. So I'm off next week and I'm really looking forward to it. We haven't got anything overly planned. Dave's gone to see his bees today so that he doesn't have to do anything next week. So this one's going to be, this is the outside, so this is going to be the same size as that piece there. I'm going to go up there and then I'm going to cut it at 3.5. Like that. So, anybody else there? Who's there all together?
24 people altogether.
You see any names?
Yeah. Bring it back over to me. If comments would let me scroll. There we go.
Yeah, and your mum seems to scroll give names better. There's obviously a button I haven't pressed on there. Okay, 4/4. Okay, so we're going to make it out the pink. We're going to make the strapping out the pink. We want it 2.5 by 8.5. Okay. So, any questions so far?
Questions? No.
Questions from the public. Public.
There's a lot of people saying what they've been doing today.
Oh, what have they been doing?
Taryn says she's doing a lot of washing. Suzanne is apparently preparing runner beans.
Ooh. I'm hoping Dave's going to go up the allotment and pick beans. Linda did give us beans before she went away, but we gave a lot of them away. My mother was very grateful. So yeah, it's I could do with some beans. So Dave, if you're watching with your bees, go and pick some runner beans as well. Okay, so this one is your strap. Okay, and just like we do with any sort of bias binding, we're going to fold it in half like that. Okay, now fold it in half and then we fold it in to the middle like that. Okay, like this. Don't get comfy because I'm moving back over there now. We've got to keep him on his toes, haven't we, girls? Right, so there we go. I'm going to fold it like that and iron it. And now I think it's mostly sewing, so we're going back to the machine, Alex. Okay. Oh. Right. We've already had to redress the set because I managed to take the whole thing down. Right. It is rather warm in here. So, I'm going to sew. Oh, this is a new one, isn't it? Bear with me, I'm on the posh machine. Right, so we're going to sew. I've got the 1/4 inch foot on. So I'm just going to sew down there. It's nothing special, it's just to hold it together. And then okay, how am I going to be able to take it back? Blimey, this is some machines there. Right, only because it's symmetrical. Okay, really weird being in somebody else's workroom. You don't know where anything is. Okay, so we've sewn the strap. Okay, we're now going to take, so when we build it, that's the one lining. Then you're going to have another lining there. Then this one is going to go on top. Then on the back, you've got 2 pieces. Okay, so this piece at the top is your flap. Okay, so we're going to now work out where the middle of the bottom one is. Are you all with me still? Seems a lot of work for a little doobry. So we're going to put them raw edges together. I've worked out where the half is, so I'm just going to slot that up there. So raw edges together, then you're going to take your flat piece and sandwich your tape in between. Okay, take it to the machine. It's all done on 1/4 inch. And we're going to just take it down there, just like that. Oh, wrong button. And we're going to iron that out like that. Okay, and then we're going to pull your oh no, if we iron it the other way, now if we iron it so that it goes towards the bottom, so that your seam inside goes towards the bottom. Be easier if I had a dark one, wouldn't it? To the dark side. That hasn't gone very straight. What have you done there, Sarah Jane? These irons do get hot. Okay. Right, so I've ironed it towards the seam allowance towards the bottom, and then we're going to pull that strap up towards your flap, and then we're going to put this back in and just top stitch it. So you're top stitching across the seam allowance so it will hold it down. Okay. No, pull up. That's it. Sarah's got a 1/4 inch foot on. I could change it, but I'm a lazy. You want it to talk to you and it's making that amount of noise. Okay, so that's the back piece finished. Put it to one side. Then you pull out your other 2 small pieces and you put them right sides together, and we're going to sew along the top and the bottom 1/4 inch seam. Now I've chosen 2 fabrics that have no right side or wrong side. I didn't do it on purpose this time, but I would quite often do that. I just pulled 2 fabrics out of the fat 8 box. Now when I was watching a video on this, they just lift the foot and pull they don't do all the cutting. They just sort of move over and do all the cutting afterwards, I think. No, I'm going to cut that. Right, so we've sewn it like that. We're now going to turn it round the right way. As you can see, it's not rocket science, this. It's a nice, easy little job. And for those of you that make things for charity, then there's another one that you can put under your belt. Any news, any questions, any thoughts going on?
Not much new has come in.
No. I think it's because to begin with, I forgot to talk when we were doing these things. So now I just keep talking and forget to ask what's going on. We should have it scrolling on a
Like a
on
third
laptop.
phone.
On a laptop. You know, sign in silently so you can have a look at it. I watch So Over It. I've got her on a subscriber thing, and she seems to have it on a big on a computer screen. Right, now we're going to sort of build this. Okay, I hope Sarah's got a white pen. Oh, is there a white pen? That one will do. Okay, check the patterns there. and got to a bit. Okay, when I'm going to sew this piece to this piece. All right, so you're just going to lay them on and another 1/4 inch at the bottom. It takes longer because I forget to press the buttons. It's a beautiful machine, Sarah. I'm loving it. However, I wouldn't swap mine. Okay. So we're going to pull this out so we've got it long ways, like this. Now we're going to take our unit 1 and 2 and we're going to place it with the lining to the lining and butt it up to the seam that you've just done. So you're just going to line it up like that, okay, up like that, and then we're going to fold this over it like that, and we're going to pin it. It's one thing I need to make is a sewing machine mat. Right, I did say in the pattern that you might need to trim your lining. As you can see, it's a little bit big, so I need to work out the what they're called, the measurements again. I think I've overestimated the seam allowance. Okay, so we're going to pin these together to make sure that they're not going to move, and as you're going up you need to make sure that your tail is tucked in and out of the way of anywhere that you're going to sew. You're going to sew all the way round. Okay. So I'm going to ease that like that. Put one there and one over there. Right. Now I'm going to draw it on this side. I should have pinned on this side. We'll have to move the pins. Okay. So our top, the circumference of our top was 4. Okay, so which is C, was 4. So we're now going to mark that. Where is it? We've got to work out, it was C, it was 4, so you've got to half it. Okay, because you don't need a 4-inch thing, so it comes to 2 inches. So you're going to work out the middle of your unit, which is 3.5. So that's 1 3/4. That's your middle there. So you want to span your 2 inches over there. So you're measuring it on your sewing line and you're going to mark off your 2 inches. Now I think 2 inches is too big, but I changed it to 1.5 and it wasn't big enough, so I'm going to take it down to, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there and see how that goes. Okay, so you're then going to turn it and you want to mark 1/2 inch up from your seam line. Okay, so that's 1/2 inch there. 1/2 inch is always shorter than I imagine it's going to be, and you're going to mark 1/2 inch there. Okay, now you're going to draw a line between the marks that you've just made. Okay, are you with me so far? All right. You're also going to curve the corners. So you're going to sew at 1/4 inch and you want to come round the corner I'm just going to sort of curve this up. Okay. So you've got your space here, which is going, you're going to get your bottle cap through, and then we've curved all your corners going round. So now we're going to leave a space there and there, and we're going to start sewing. We're nearly finished. It really is that quick. And if you were to piece them, chain piece them, then you'd be surprised at how fast they all come together. All of a sudden you've run out of things to sew. So we're going to start there. Okay. Right, is there any questions there, Al? Because I've got to go all the way around.
Nothing's come in. Don't know if that's just. Nothing has actually come in.
That's all right. Any problems, I will answer them afterwards. Oh, it's like one of those cars. You know those cars that stop at the traffic lights? Right. Okay. So, right, up the other side. Sorry, have to think. Oh, stop. Okay, so I don't know what I'm going to do next week. I'd like to stay in bed for some of it. We've got a house in Barry that needs some finishing off before it can go back out for rent. Our kids have been amazing. We just I'm gonna miss the cut-off bit, so we're going to cut that off there. That's because I was thinking about what I was going to say. I'm going to take that back a bit. I don't think I can get it out, that little hole. Okay, so take the last pin out. We're going to cut into those really bad corners. Okay. So we're going to just trim off so that you make your corners rounded and you get sharper corners, and you're going to cut there. Now I know it looks like it's sewn, but remember we had that other piece that went in. That's what makes the hole. Okay, so we're going to come and pull that out. One of the other videos I was watching, they had this turning thing, and it was shaped like almost like forceps for getting a baby out, and it looked really. I wondered what it was when I saw it on there. Okay. So where's my hole? There's my hole. So we're going to push the corners out. Okay, and then we're going to top stitch that opening. I'm going to top stitch the opening shut. Okay, we're inside out. There we go. There we go. It's pink now. I was looking at it thinking, I've done something wrong. What have I done wrong? Okay. There we are. So we're just going to iron that little bit there. So I'm hoping that the weather's going to be nice next week, because I do want to spend a day on the beach. I don't care which beach, preferably one not with everybody else, but I would like to just dip my feet in the ocean. That would be rather nice. So we're going to now top stitch, just top stitch around our flap. Okay, so I'm going to go there, back, go back one, that's it. So I'm doing it roughly 1/8 of an inch. It's a guessage thing. You just know that you don't want to do it at the 1/4 inch, otherwise you're not going to catch your opening by year. Okay. So I'm sorry about yesterday with the Wi-Fi. Hopefully it's working better today. Okay, so there you have, hopefully, a pouch that fits the bottle that you measured. Okay, so that comes through. See, I did it again. I decided I'll take it smaller. Don't take it smaller, it needs that 2 inches. So that would go through there. Now I'm going to show you buttonhole. Okay, so we're going with this contraption. This contraption is your buttonholer. Okay, now I'm being very brave here because I haven't used it very often. So you put your button in that little bit there. Okay, oops, gone the wrong way. And then you're going to close it. All right.
There's a button on this, and it wants to like turn the camera upward, and I keep hitting it.
Oh, what? Showing the ceiling. So your button goes in the back of that. Okay. So we're going to come over here. We're going to drop. We're going to drop the foot off, the other foot off, and we're going to add this foot. Now, are you ready for this, girls? Wood. There we are. I got it. There we go. Now, there's a contraption here that you pull down. So this bit means that as it's moving, it stops. Now, I don't know whether do you go on that side? No, it actually fits in there. We'll give it a go on a spare piece of fabric first, okay? So, let's find out which button we want to press. We are going to go with 80. Okay. There we go. Right. Now, by rights, this thing should do it by itself. Oh, it goes backwards. Okay. Let's give ourselves some room then, shall we? Let's move it. Let's put it in the middle. At least then we'll be able to work out which way it goes. Okay. This is so cool! There we are. And because it's an amazing machine, it stops on its own. Can you see the buttonhole? Okay. So what you do now is you get your seam ripper, stick it in there and rip it. And your button will now go through. Okay. So we're going to do it on this one because I've picked up pink. So what you want to do is you want to put your oh, this might fit the poo bags better. We'll try it now. So we're going to put the buttonhole on this one, on the flap. Okay. So again, we're going to put. It might be a little bit squuff when we've done. I'm going to put the foot down, and we're going to ask it to do it again. Any questions there, Alex?
Comments have just started showing up again.
What's showing up?
Comments.
They're not?
They are.
Oh, they are. This is brilliant. Okay. I always think that buttonholes are going to be scary. Well, you can see they really are not. We're now going to try and get a buttonhole on this little bit. And that's where you think, should I have done this by hand? So we're going to put this in here, like that. Off we go. Look, Mum, no hands. It's things like this that make me happy. There we go. So, while you're on air. So we're going to get our seam ripper and we're going to... Now I think you can sew a button on with this. However, I've never practiced that, so we're not even going to go there. I will have a look on my machine. I don't know whether mine does. Sarah's, this machine goes from side to side as well as back and front, whereas a lot of machines don't, or it goes in a square and my machine doesn't. Okay, so that's a little lopsided, but oh, don't do that. I've just gone all the way through, so that will have to be sewn afterwards. So the button, you work out where your pad is going to sit, your flap is going to sit. You work out where the button would go in, and you take your Friction pen. Yeah. Take your Friction pen and poke it through the buttonhole, okay, and make a mark, so you know that that's where the button's going to go. Now on the back, your button is going to fit there. Okay, you just sew it through on the top so that you can then put this through. Okay, and there you have your poo bag. I can just see Dave going out with the poo bag holder in pink. Yeah, I think the hole is still too big for this. So you would sew your button on like that. There we go. So there you have your sanitizer holder pouch or poo bag. I would make that maybe 1 inch. It would stop it falling out the bottom, or even make it smaller. You could put a bit of elastic in there to hold it so that as the poo bag gets smaller it doesn't drop out. I have other ideas for poo bag holders. There's, those are the things that you lie awake thinking about. I like the ones where they've embroidered a dog and the poo bag comes out of its tail end. So I quite like those. Maybe I'll go into production for those. Any questions?
A lot of people saying that was the first time they haven't used that tool.
Use the button holder, yes.
Before. Thanks for showing it.
And that is probably one of the easiest feet that you'll use. You just put your little button in there. So it'll take a button. If I pull it out, put that back up. You've got to remember to put that little lever down. This little lever on your machine. That has to go down, otherwise it doesn't know. But all the new machines now will tell you. So this will take a pretty large button, and it just, then you just know that your buttonhole is going to fit. But don't do like what I did and keep going. I've ripped that, so I'd have to put some satin stitches in. Yeah, cut all the stitches as well. So there we go. That's me done for this week, and I've got lots of ideas for when I come back, but don't tell Sian that because she'll want me to write them down. I will see you after my holiday. You've got Sarah next week. She's not in on Tuesday, remember, because you'll be able to catch her on her Chanda instead. So we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.